O'Neill Outside Radio is brought to you by these fine sponsors. Zach Brown Southern Grind Knives. Only the best make the cut. The Whitetail Institute of North America, the gold standard for food plots. Tough Shed, great storage sheds and custom buildings. Works, power and garden tools. Fisher's Choice, the ideal solution to live bait. True Turn Hooks, hook more fish. Roadrunner Lures, outfishing ordinary lures since 1959. Crocodile Bay Lodge, Costa Rica's best fishing and resort destination. And by O'Neill's new Real Gun and Marine Oils, naturally the best.
Good morning, boys and girls, from Black Powder headquarters and the Bojangles studio high on Sassafras Mountain. CDA presents Real Tree Radio. Welcome to a brand new, unused Saturday morning. Welcome, everyone. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside on an unused Saturday morning. I hope you'll join us for the next couple of hours. We're talking outdoors. No politics, no finance, no accusations, well, that I know of so far. And I hope you'll be able to join us. We'll have the radio prize package, the Medal of Honor tribute, the Southern Grind guest book questions, and, of course, your calls among so many other things. And we hope you'll join us. Let me give you the telephone numbers should you like to participate in the program. 404-872-0750 in the Atlanta area, 404-872-0750, or outside the Atlanta calling area and worldwide, nationwide at 800-972-8255, 800-972-8255. You can listen on WSB Radio throughout the eastern United States at 7:50 a.m. on your dial, and the SB Nation, Sports Broadcast Nation, and 126 radio stations from Maine to Seattle to L.A. and all across Texas and the South all the way to Miami. And let's make hay out of it this morning. What do you say? We've got a lot of things to talk about, and I appreciate your calls and participation in the program. It's summertime. What a surprise. It happens every year. We'll talk about some of those things. What about deer hunting? Do you get involved now in the summer? Well, yes, indeed. Deer hunting is year-round, along with so many other things. I got a very, very special trip full of advice to tell you about this morning. I spent part of this week with Charlie Killmaster. He's a wildlife biologist with the Department of Natural Resources, and we went hog hunting. Is that something that concerns you if you are a landowner, leaseholder? Are they invading your property? Do they belong here? How did they get here? And what to do about it if you can and should? Well, you can learn so much for here on O'Neill Outside from my guest, I will tell you. And so 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255, and we'll be back. Bear with me now for some shameless self-promotion. First of all, to tell you that this program is brought to you every Saturday morning by Timbuktu Outdoors, Hayes Auto Dealerships, True Turn Hook, Stripling's General Store, the O'Neill Alaskan Cruise Adventure, and I have something to tell you about that, the Whitetail Institute, Tough Shed, Governor's Gun Club, Real Lubes and Gun Oils. You should look into those. They're pretty, that's really great stuff. Snellville Heating and Air, Zach Brown Southern Grind Knives, Arctic Ice Packs, Works Tools, and Bodyplex. So a couple of things to tell you about before we get to our calls. Number one, you can listen to this program and O'Neill's other podcasts done every week on SoundCloud and iGoogle. Might be worthwhile when you're riding around to tune in to SoundCloud, iGoogle, and you can listen to this program at a more reasonable hour. So there you are with that. Now, secondly then, too, if you will visit o'neilloutside.com or o'neilloutside.net, on the home page, scroll to the bottom and you will see all the information necessary for you to consider traveling with us, that us being me and Gail and a whole bunch of other people already, on an Alaskan cruise. We will exit from Seattle, Washington, up the inland waterway, up into Alaska and the glaciers and the mountains and all that on what's called the Lynn Canal, which means there are mountains on both sides. You're not out in the ocean. On a very special ship called the Princess. This ship is built for this cruise. A lot of windows. There's lots to see. Mountains and whales and sea lions and glaciers, and we've done this. Gail and I have done this cruise on 2 other occasions, and comparing this to a Caribbean cruise is like Harvard from kindergarten. This is the best cruise we've ever taken by far, and I think you'll have other people who have done so will tell you the same. Do it now. It's next summer. It's June of 2020. Make your reservations now to be sure and get an outside room with a balcony. You can cancel later, but the Alaskan cruise is something that you should consider doing for summer of 2020. Let's see, what other self-promotion do I have going on here? That's all looks like right now. You visit O'Neill Outside Facebook page, O'Neill Outside Facebook, and you can watch this show live. And I know it's summertime, audience is down. That's okay. I got up. If you were on the air, I'd watch you. It's 15 after the hour. It's going to be a beautiful weekend all across the country and across the southeast, and especially it's going to be very warm via our new super channel, our super sports channel, WEEI in Boston. And I'd love to get a call from you guys up there this time of the year to see how far along summertime is with you. Summertime's over here in Georgia and the southeast, but what about up north there? That, and believe me, with the EEI signal going all the way to the tip of Maine, that is up north, that's for sure. Matter of fact, we may have some advice today during the program about the proper breakfast. You don't have potatoes for breakfast, you have grits. And I have in my book, O'Neill Outside, people and places along the way which you may purchase, more self-promotion, at o'neilloutside.net, right there on the home page, and I will sign the book and personally I'll personalize it, send it to you. And there's a chapter there on how to eat breakfast and what you should have for breakfast. And I think you'll enjoy reading about that. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255 for O'Neill Outside. Can you imagine? Now, this is the 28th year of our show. And thank goodness we send the show. It's produced at here in the mountains in North Georgia. We call it, our cabin, we call it the lean-to. It's not much, but there's a little studio downstairs. Just send out a little signal. And I would hate to have to drive down to Atlanta. It's 2 hours from here to the WSB studio. And how this works is that the signal goes from here in the mountains to WSB, then to Karen and Brian Green in their studio in Peachtree City, Georgia, which is 107 miles from here. Then it goes to Houston, Texas for the SB Nation, and it's spread out worldwide from there. So it's a Band-Aid patchwork operation, but I hope you enjoy it. And from time to time, if you're an early riser, we can talk outdoors. And I'm going to get into the following subject right now, and we'll carry it over into the next break. And that is this. This week, if you're a landowner, leaseholder, even up here in the mountains in our neighborhood, so to speak, everybody has 5 acres, and it's next to the national forest. There are hogs here, extremely destructive. Hogs are not, listen now, hogs are not native species to North America. No, they're not. Are they a game animal? That's up for debate. Are they smart? You bet. Do they produce rapidly? Oh my goodness, yes indeed. They destroy crops, from wheat fields to corn patches to, my goodness, grass fields, Bermuda grass, hay, everything. Do they need to be taken care of? Do they need to be managed? Well, of course they do. How do you do that? Well, you shoot them when you can. But the way to get that done is trapping. And I would encourage you, if you have a hog problem, we have one here, and a professional trapper visits our area, and he traps these hogs. And it's not a one-night process. The hogs are smart, wary. There's plenty of them. And you can look on the internet at Jaeger Pro and so many other places to trap hogs. Can you effectively kill them with your rifle at night or during the day if you see one? Well, you can give it a try, but you cannot affect the population with a rifle. It has to be done by trapping. Please do your part. Get rid of them. They are not pets, and they are really smart. I was told by an expert this week that they are not quite, now they're not thought of as quite as intelligent as a dolphin, but it's close. They, as a matter of fact, I understand that the professional trappers, the Department of Natural Resources, a trip that I'll continue on after this break, told me that they have to move the traps from time to time, often, and rebait the traps because the hogs know the traps are not their friends. They learn about the traps. They identify that this trap is not a good one. It's where some of their buddies died or were removed from the scene. So consequently, this is really a project. I know I was at Dylane Wildlife Management Area this week, and in the last 7 years, they estimate they have had to kill, remove, trap, whatever the case might be, your terminology, over 1,000 hogs in 7 years. And prior to that, there were no hogs. There are plenty of hogs there now, and they've already killed 1,000. The Southern Grind guest book question when we return. Welcome back. We've been getting calls now from Ohio and East Tennessee, fellows who evidently get up early or stay up all night. So I appreciate you calling in and listening to the show and talking outdoors. If it's only once a week, I know it's really that more than that for you, but once a week on the radio, that's a pretty good deal. First of all, let's jump in here and talk to Don, and he's calling from
Ocean Isle, North Carolina.
Good morning, Don.
How you doing, Captain?
There you are. I love you saying it. I'm doing fine. How are you, sir? How's the fishing, and how's the family?
Well, family's good. Ross and Duncan are down in Panacea at triple tail fishing, and I'm up here stuck with a kingfish. So, but life is good because the local tomatoes in, the kings are biting. So,
hey, that's a pretty good combination. We've been.
It ain't bad. It ain't bad. After
we've
eating
quit
cardboard
growing
all winter. Those tomatoes really taste good, you know. So.
We have a problem here with tomatoes, and our problem is that when we grow tomatoes here out on the deck and got on the porch on the back, the back of the house, the bears come and eat them.
Wow.
So we have to purchase our tomatoes, but there's a little farm stand in Jasper, and they got some fine tomatoes, and we have them there, and we eat them every day. So that's a recommendation well received. So how's the kingfishing there on the Carolina coast?
I tried to grow some here for a long time, and then I found out that I have a local fellow here that grows tomatoes by the acres, and he could do a better job than I could, so I buy mine from him, and he does a better job. So, but we had the flounder tournament this year, and the winning fish was 8.5 pounds, and that's pretty good size for a flounder. But I don't know what the record is, but out of the fellow I fished with, we caught a 9.8 pound, and won it 1 year. They won it 2 years in a row, and.
That's you said that Ross is down in Panacea.
That's it. He and Duncan are down there triple tail fishing.
Boy, now if there's a better tasting fish in fresh water than a triple tail, I don't know what it is. How about you?
Well, I would say that's very good. But like I've told you before, the best fish in salt water is the one I'm eating right now. So I like all of them, and they all have different taste. And but the triple tail is very good, and they catch a bunch of them down there. And we don't have them. We have them up here, but very limited. And they catch 20 pounders, nothing unheard of down there.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
boy, that's a huge. You go to the last time I looked into it, that I was on the Panhandle of Florida. I went to a fish market. Forgotten for, I think we were going to get some shrimp or something, I don't remember. And I remember that the triple tail was, I think it was almost $20 a pound in the store.
I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that at all. We catch a lot of grouper up here, and they're close to 15. So that's not unheard of. But both of them are very good fish. So, but we do catch a lot of grouper. So.
Well, good. Well, I know you're having a good summer, and you sound good, and I'm glad you're getting in some fishing. And I always look forward to your calls.
All right, tell Gail hello, and we love both of you, Captain.
Well, you're very, very kind to call, and good luck to you. Be safe out there, sir.
Happy 4th of July.
Oh my goodness! Hey, that's next week, isn't it?
It is that. Yep, and we get to celebrate again, and then we can say Merry Christmas and happy and America's great again. So.
happy, you bet. Thanks for calling, my good friend. I'll see you soon.
All right, Captain. Love your show.
There you go. Now let's. You bet. There we go. All right, now let's talk to Bob. He's on O'Neill Outside on a Saturday morning. Bob, good morning.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. What's going on with you, sir?
Okay, I got a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
On Fox, one of the Fox Sports shows, Outdoors with O'Neill.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Uh-huh.
They introduced it as you with Travis, and then there was no sign of Travis. What happened?
Well, Travis, yes, what Bob is referring to is that we renamed the show last year. It was O'Neill Outside with Travis Johnson, and throughout the coming fall of the year, you will see an awful lot of Travis. He sort of cut into the television time this year because Travis now lives in Oklahoma. How about that? He is a turkey and white-tailed deer guide. He lives in a little town called Sweetwater, Oklahoma, which is right on the border between the Texas Panhandle and that way up in the northwest corner of Oklahoma.
Does he have a show that you can find on TV?
No, that's his program. When Travis is on the air, and you'll see a lot of him beginning next week, as a matter of fact. But he will be on O'Neill Outside. O'Neill Outside with Travis Johnson.
Can I ask you one more question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Usually used to be you would introduce your very boisterous, unused Saturday morning with the James Brown song, I Got You. Why did you stop using that song?
It was this sound and the engineering where we wanted to change things, and since this show goes to WSB and it goes to the SB Nation and its own Facebook, that boisterous, as you called it, and that was true. My introduction of a brand new Saturday morning didn't quite fit in. It was difficult to do, so we sort of toned that down a little bit. But indeed, it is an unused Saturday morning, is it not?
Okay, thanks a lot.
You bet. Glad you called, Bob.
Bye.
Good luck to you and have a great weekend. You bet. There we are. All right, 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. It's 32 after the hour. I tell you what, let's do. First of all, let's get to the Zach Brown Southern Grind question. Every week at o'neilloutside.com on the home page, you will see an opportunity for you to send in a question, an observation, a critique, whatever the case might be. You can reach O'Neill via the Southern Grind question. And I pick one of the questions out every week for so that we can send a knife. And so we answer some of the questions, and we can send you a Southern Grind knife. Let's see, this one. All right, here's one right here from Jim C. in Sharpsburg, Georgia. And he says, how do you determine which spinnerbait to use in fresh water? A single Colorado blade or a twin blade? And when is the best time to use spinnerbaits? The best time to use spinnerbaits, most effective, is when the fish are shallow. I like to use spinnerbaits around stumps and blowdowns, things of that nature. And whether I use a single Colorado blade or a twin, like a twin blade, I usually use the twin blade, the tandem, because it doesn't get doesn't get tangled up in the weeds as much. You can feel the Colorado blade; it's more resistance. But I like the blade. I don't like to waste any cast, so I use a twin Colorado blade. Almost always a chartreuse skirted spinnerbait, and unless I'm in the stick-ups, if I'm over a grassy flat, something of that nature, where the fish are in the springtime, I will turn the trailer hook down. The people at True Turn make a trailer hook with a little collar, and it holds that hook on there just right. I got taught a lesson one day by a fellow. He had his trailer hook turned down on a buzzbait, and he caught twice as many as that I did, and I had first cast of the fish. The trailer hook really works. So that was from Jim C. in Sharpsburg, Georgia. Let's see if I can get to this one right quick. I tell you what, I think I'll hold on because these are good questions, and I want to get to each and every one of them as quickly as possible and answer each one of them fully. And then when we return, we'll give away the knife. And then upon that return also, I'm going to ask you to put your brain together because we will have our radio prize package. We'll be back in, I've got 30 seconds here, and then we'll be back. But the telephone numbers for the radio prize package for you to participate in the program, besides watching it on Facebook, is 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. And don't forget, please, avail yourself of the information for our Alaska cruise. In the summer of 2020, we're going to Alaska. and we have a great number of people already reserving your rooms. Reserve them now. You can cancel later, but be sure and get you a balcony room on the Alaskan Princess, I believe it's called. Gail and I are going, along with the family and a whole bunch of good friends. We'll be back with more Radio Prize Package and the Zach Brown Guest Book when we return. At 4:40 it is, and we're in the Southern Grind Guest Book questions right now. Here's a inquiry from Bob Berry. And Bob says, I caught the tail end of your show last week when you were fishing in North Georgia on a 2-mile stretch of a river for trout. Can you provide me with the name of the lodge or the outfitter where you were fishing, please? And that is the best mountain trout stream on the eastern United States, I think. I haven't been to them all, of course, but I think. And it's called the Soquie, S-O-Q-U-E, Soquie River. And the outfitter there, the lodge, the fabulous food, and the unparalleled fishing happens at Black Hawk Fly Fishing. And it's on the internet with loads of pictures. And if you're even a novice, you'll catch 20 rainbows in a morning over 20 inches long. Sounds like a fantasy. It is. Okay, Curtis Craig from McDonough, Georgia. What was the name of the knife most used by mountain men for trapping during the 1820s to 1840s? Any idea? Curtis from McDonough? I don't know. All I know is now that fabulous knives, and you can get a Zach Brown Southern Grind knife by visiting Zach Brown on the internet, and they are top quality knives that you will keep forever. Tyler Hamby from Dawsonville, Georgia. I learned a lot from your show. I hope so. That's what this is about. Camille Gary from McDonough, Georgia. Thank you for being you. Well, I can't be anybody else. Thanks for the observation. Love listening to your show on Saturday morning, and I hope that you are now, Camille. I like it when you talk to the listeners. Me too. As a matter of fact, let me look right there and see if we have any callers. And not yet. Not right now. We'll have more later. Your show beats the other radio shows I've listened to in the past. That's lovely, isn't it? Okay, Donnie Scarborough from Loganville, Georgia, one of my favorite towns. I listened to your show on the way to work, and thanks for all that you do. Let's see. Okay, from Roger Barron in Yuma, Arizona. I enjoy watching your show. Let's see. He said, on June the 15th, I was watching your show and noticed an ad for True Turn hooks, which I really like for largemouth bass. Later in the show, you cooked a salmon fillet on the Big Green Egg. Now, picking Roger for the Zach Brown winner this week allows me to tell you the story of True Turn hooks. It was started by a fellow in Montgomery, Alabama. Okay? His name was John Campbell, and this was in the 1940s. And he was, if you remember the old IBM card machines, where all the cards would spit out the cards, and they had holes in the cards, and that's how the IBM machine read the cards, read the information, and stored the information. Well, he was an operator of one of those IBM machines. And he discovered that if you used a paper clip and straightened it out, and it had some bends in the pen, and you stuck it in the cards and you turned the paper clip, it would straighten all the cards out. And this bend in that paper clip, he thought, now if a fish had that hook in his mouth and you set the hook, that bend would turn the hook and you would hook the fish more often. And that was the start of True Turn hooks. And it's been brought to worldwide business by Wes Campbell and his family. and his employees, and they're located in Wetumpka, Alabama. Isn't that great? It's a great story, and it's a great family, and we make a wonderful product, and I don't know how many millions of those hooks they sell, but the True Turn hook is indeed unique. Okay, let's set that aside now, and let's do the radio prize package. Radio prize package rules are that you have to be 18 years old, and you cannot have won a prize package, let's say in the last year. It's 45 after the hour. The radio prize package, you can win a Whitetail Institute DVD about planting food plots, a Realtree hat and decal combo, Data Sport fish and game forecaster, 2 cans of Fisher's Choice baits, a casting float, the best one made. It's called the Thunder Chicken by Captain Mark Noble there on the Georgia coast, a Thorogood boot hat, Arctic Ice freezer pack, you won't buy ice anymore, 2 packets of Bug Band and a wristband, a selection of True Turn tackle. That's a little box with all the True Turn spinners and things in there. Great. And a $10 Bojangles gift card. The first correct caller to the following question at 404-872-0750 or 800-972-8255. The first correct answer to the following question wins the radio prize package. And what is the question? O'Neill's favorite, and I've mentioned this many times, my favorite outdoor writer about turkey hunting. He's eloquent, hyper intelligent, beautiful advice about turkey hunting, and he's written about 25 books, and I'm reading one now. Who is O'Neill's favorite writer about the romance of the Old South as it relates to turkey hunting? What is his name? And with that, you'll win the radio prize package. It's 47 after the hour. Back to, I'm glad I got that out there, 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. Have I not mentioned that enough for you to get that question? I thought you would get that immediately. Well, maybe not. Who's O'Neill's favorite writer about turkey hunting? I'm reading one of his books now. And, okay, one more question from Alan in Jacksonville, Florida. He says he's been trying to fish for speckled trout, redfish, and flounder. What are the good ways for catching those things? The best way for you to catch speckled trout, redfish, and flounder is for you to use shrimp under a cork. Shrimp under, well, a Mark Noble Thunder Chicken float, casting float. You put, see what happens is you put, with shrimp, you actually put some scent into the water. And saltwater fish, even more so than freshwater, really tune into the scent. And they're used to eating shrimp, of course. So you put shrimp under a cork, and you can catch reds and trout and what's the and the reds and trout and flounder, and you can catch them. Now, the best inshore saltwater fishing that I've ever experienced on the Gulf, on the coast of the United States, is at Cajun Vista Lodge in Barataria, Louisiana, and we'll talk more about that. All right, Corey, do you have a winner here, sir? I'm talking to Corey. He's the engineer at WSB, and we have several calls there, and I want to get to each one of them as soon as we have one of the ones that's the winner, and he'll tell me in a minute. It's 4:49. We can get to that in a few minutes. But Cajun Vista Lodge, what makes it so special? Well, over the last 65 million years or so of the Mississippi River, the Ohio, the Mississippi, and all joining together, the Tennessee joining there at Memphis and taking all these nutrients down to the Gulf Coast, that peninsula is from the top topsoil, if you will, and all the nutrients with the Mississippi River taking it down all the way to the Gulf Coast. The Barataria Bay is and the Chafalaya Basin is the best inshore saltwater fishing in the world. It's 30 miles wide. It's 90 miles long. It's 4 feet deep. It's super fertile, and there must be 1 billion trout and reds and flounder in that territory. You should go sometime. I'll be going there in October of this year. I'll be taking a group to Cajun Vista Lodge in Barataria, Louisiana, and I would urge you, when you have an opportunity, to look up Cajun Vista Lodge on the internet. It's just absolutely the greatest fishing in the world, and inshore, that is. And it's perfectly situated with the lodge, the food, the boat, the guides, everything. And you can go on that trip with O'Neill in October of 2019. I'm putting the trip together right now. It's 50 after the hour, 404. Yes. Okay, the winner is on line 1. Give me a name. Well, let's just go right to it right now because we have an opportunity to handle it. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside, and we're talking to Brent now. And Brent is calling from Cumming, Georgia, right around the corner. Good morning, Brent.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, indeed. So, who is O'Neill's favorite writer of the outdoor stories and the instruction about turkey hunting?
That would be the Colonel, Tom Kelly.
Yeah, I can tell you've read him before because that is he.
I am a member of the 10th Legion.
Ah, my goodness, you're a fan. All right, I like that.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do.
Thank you very much. You won quite a prize package, and we'll be getting it to you pretty soon. Now, tell me, what is your favorite book of his? Can you grab one?
The original, the 10th Legion. That last passage that he speaks about, the last turkey that came to him did it a long time ago.
Yes.
And that caught me. And he understands not just the bird, but the art and the passion of the hunt and the pursuit of that bird.
That's right. I love it because he said, I don't hunt turkeys because I want to. I hunt turkeys because I have to.
That is a fact.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
Well, knowing that and calling in this morning won you a nice prize package. And
That's awesome.
Good. I'll put you back on hold. Give us a couple of weeks to get it to you. And just in case we need some more information, I'll put you back on hold. And enjoy the weekend, sir. And I appreciate you participating in the program.
Thanks, O'Neill. Enjoy your show.
You bet. Thank you, sir. There we go. All right. And we'll put that back on hold just in case he would need some more information. Pardon me. 53 after the hour. I don't have time to get to Philip right now, but I will upon our return. We'll talk to Philip. He wants to talk about lake trout fishing in North Georgia. Well, we'll get to that. This is O'Neill, 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. O'Neill Outside, our 29th year. Oh, my goodness, that's kind of scary, isn't it? On WSB and the SB Nation, coast to coast, Seattle to Maine to L.A. to Miami. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside on a brand new, unused Saturday morning. You heard it again. This is O'Neill. We'll be back. 57 after the hour, a beautiful weekend coming up. You're listening to O'Neill Outside, and we're having a chat right now with Philip, calling from a beautiful little town in North Georgia called Blairsville. Good morning, Philip. What can I do for you, sir? What are we talking about? You're on the air.
Good morning, O'Neill.
Good morning.
I was giving you a call this morning. As the weather's starting to warm up a little bit, our rivers are starting to turn a little, and my trout fishing is slowing down in my rivers unless I'm chasing altitude and getting up around 3,000 feet to chase trout and stream. Was going to start fishing the lakes. Never had a lot of success with our state park lakes with Bogle, Unicoi, Dockery, over in Suches. I'm having a hard time getting fish out of that deep water. I know they're there. They're heavily stocked, and I've seen beautiful trout in there, and I've seen them come out. But I can't get on them.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to see if you've got a pointer for me.
I think what happened, and I'm guessing here, I'm no biologist. I just repeat things I've heard. What happens when it really gets warm like this, like summertime, okay? The trout, they are in lakes, not so much in streams, but certainly in lakes. When the water temperature gets to be what it is now, they are stressed, and they just don't eat. They don't feed. They just don't feel good. They are under quite a bit of strain because above about 72-degree water temperature, a trout doesn't feel very good. Now, that may be an oversimplification, but if you're seeing them on a depth finder and you know they're there but they just won't bite, I think that may be the problem. What kind of bait or what kind of attraction are you using to try to catch these lake critters?
I've thrown everything from small spoons to 164 trout magnets through live bait, and I've worked them and had minimal success. I'm seeing good fish. I know there's fish there. I don't know what the bottom water temperature is. I'm assuming in most of those lakes we're probably getting fairly warm, even at the bottom of the lake this time of year. Even in the spring, I'm having a hard time getting on them when I'm seeing trout up in the water, when the water temperature is in the 60s, mid to low 60s. I'm just
Philip, I want to talk to you more about this. If you can hold through the break. If I lose you, please do call back. I'm on
Neil Outside. For anything in the outdoors, this is your source. Listen in and call the show with your comments or questions. And now, here's O'Neill.
I'm going to talk over myself. Welcome to the program, everyone. This is O'Neill on an unused Saturday morning, trying to coordinate the time between such an array of stations listening to us all across the country. This is O'Neill on an unused Saturday, and on WSB AM across the eastern United States. You can hear us live on Saturday mornings along with the SB Nation Radio Network. So tune us in if you can and participate in the program should you like to do that. It's 6 after the hour. It's going to be a beautiful weekend. The telephone numbers, should you like to participate, are 404-872-0750 or outside the Atlanta calling area 800-972-8255. From Seattle to LA to Maine to Florida and throughout Texas and the Midwest, it's the SB Nation along with WSB. It's 7 minutes after the hour, and we'd love to hear from you this morning. We do have the Medal of Honor tribute coming up later on this hour, and of course your calls. So there you are. We hope you'll give us a ring. A couple of self-promotion. Excuse me. Be sure and visit O'Neill Outside. Bottom of the home page, right there at the bottom, is an Alaskan cruise. We're putting that together for the summer of 2020. Don't delay. Call and book now. You can cancel later. Alaskan cruise out of Seattle up through the Lynn Canal and returning to Seattle in the month of June of 2020. Make your reservations now. A lot of people are, and you need to get a balcony room. This boat, the Princess, is made for going to Alaska. It's got windows. It's all glass. But you need to get a balcony room, and you need to reserve it now. Gail and I have been on that cruise a couple of times in years past, and it is the most spectacular viewing, the most spectacular cruise, one of the most spectacular adventures ever. And I want you to come along with us. It's not a profit margin for O'Neill. It's not, okay? I'd just like for you to go and experience with that with us. We have a balance of an hour of O'Neill Outside Outdoors when we return. This is O'Neill. You guys stay right there. You're listening to O'Neill Outside, the #1 live outdoor-based radio talk show in the world. And we have a lot of calls. We want to finish up a call properly, if we can, with Philip calling from Blairsville, Georgia, who has trouble catching trout. Well, what do you think now? Have you figured it out? Or is that why you're calling me?
I'm still working on it, O'Neill. I'm still working on it.
Other than the hot water, now the only thing I might mention, and this may have an application, years ago, I went fishing with a fisheries biologist. I don't remember his name. I should, but this was like 20 years ago. Fisheries biologist for the University of Georgia. And he said to me, and I've always remembered this, that in small lakes and ponds, that in the summertime in hot weather, you would think you would fish deep where the water is cooler, wouldn't you?
That's been my action so far.
Okay. He tells me, or told me, and I've always remembered this, that in ponds that maybe don't have a great water flow, they're ponds with a little creek going in it, that there's no oxygen deep in the deep water. You have to fish shallow. And if the trout that you're fishing for aren't shallow, then down in the deep water, they're not feeling too hot. There's not any oxygen down there for them to remain alive. So you might be fishing too deep. And I'm guessing 100%. But
I'm going to change the tactics up and keep working it back across. Like I said, the trout fishing in the rivers and streams, unless I'm going up in altitude to my smaller streams, it's starting to slow down for the summer. So I got to find somewhere to fish.
Yeah, that's that increase in water temperature, I guess. I know that.
Oh yeah.
My favorite trout stream is the Soquee River at Black Hawk Fly Fishing, and during the hot summertime in late July and August, they close the stream because the water temperature gets too warm. How about that?
I'm going to continue to work them, and if all else fails, I'll go to Lake Notley and go bourbon catfishing.
Beautiful lake. Thanks for calling, Philip.
You have a wonderful day, O'Neill.
You bet. You too. Call more often. Great question. Oh, here's our old buddy Mac Farr calling about the Ram Fishing Report. Good morning, Mac. What do you say?
Good morning, O'Neill. How are you?
Good. You headed for the pond today?
I think we're going to get out there a little while, yes.
Good for you. Good for you.
See if we can catch a few fish. It's been really good.
Mm-hmm.
Here, everywhere else in the southeast, the striper bite, summer bite's just full on. We've talked about this many times. This surprises people, but this, I think, is the best time of year to catch a stripe bass.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me that so long ago, and we did some summertime shows too at Lake Lanier in July and August that were very successful.
Yeah, and that's going on now. The fishing, people ask me why. Well, it's so hot, they won't eat, and you got to eat. But they pile up in deep water. They get in really nice bunches, really gang up. And in theory, most lakes, they'll move to the lower end of the lake seeking good water quality. And by that, I'm talking about just quality. I'm talking about oxygen levels, not don't misinterpret that. But so you got more fish and less water. And when you find them, they'll usually bite. And that's what's happening on Lanier and other southeastern lakes. The fish are piled up on the lower end. Man, you might have to look for them. Once you find them, they'll bite. So it's a downline bite, live herring on a downline. We've got catch some fish with an umbrella, and power reeling are all really good techniques right now. So I would urge you to go fishing this week and in the next 10 or 12 for that matter.
Yeah, absolutely. That power reeling that you taught me 10 years or so ago, that's a real surprise.
Yep, that's and if for those that aren't familiar with it, that's just where we find fish on the sonar in deep water. However deep the fish are, let's say they're 60. You drop your bait 10, 20 feet below them, and then reel the bait at a pretty good pace back up through them. Say you drop your bait to 80 and reel it back up to 40. If you don't get a bite, you take your reel out of gear and keep doing that up and down. It's not jigging a spoon. It's moving it constantly up and down. And that draws a reaction bite. And if you think about it, everything we do, almost every presentation we make in deep water is either stationary or it's on a flat plane when you're fishing up and down that that vertical presentation is something they don't see, and it triggers a reaction because the bait's moving pretty quick. So he's watching it go by. He's got to either eat it or let it go. He's got to make that decision quickly.
And two, I was surprised, and I'll let you comment on the size of that spoon.
Yes, we use a lot of big spoons. We use several baits, jigs, large bucktails. But one of the big things now are these big Magnum spoons are 8 inches long. And people get intimidated when they see them. Say, oh, my gosh, that's too big. They won't bite it. They won't be able to catch them. But really, if you put it in perspective, an 8-inch spoon is not much bigger. If you laid it down and laid a herring beside it, some of the bigger herring will be 6 or 7 inches.
Yes.
We don't think anything in the spring about fishing with a big gizzard shad or a big trout that may be 15 or 16 inches. So if you put it in perspective, it's bigger than a lot of lures. As far as what the fish eat, it's not that big.
Yeah, there you go. Great advice, Matt. Great advice. And how shall people be in touch with you so that they can avail themselves of a fishing trip with Mac this summer?
Oh, they can call us at 770-271-0851, or you can find us online at Captain Mac, CAPTMACKS.com, and you can also see on our Facebook page the extended version of the Hayes Ram Fishing Report we just went over.
You bet. Glad you called, Mac. Good luck to you today. I know you're going to take a party out, and you'll really catch them.
Well, thank you. Everybody get out on the lake, be safe, and happy 4th of July week, and I hope everybody gets a couple extra days this week to get outside and enjoy the outdoors.
You bet. Thank you for calling, Mac.
Yes, sir.
You bet. See you soon, pal. There you are. And it's 18:19 after the hour. We've got time for this one, I think. Let's talk to Billy. He's calling from Jonesboro, Georgia, on O'Neill Outside. You're on the radio, Billy. I think. Good morning, Billy. Did I lose Billy? I might have. We'll put, yep, evidently Billy got in a different zone there. Call back, Billy. I'd love to answer your question. It's 19:30 after the hour. It's summertime. It's time for you to fish like it's summertime. A great demonstration there from Mac Farr about deep stripers at reservoirs all over the southeast. A little lesson from a biologist in from the University of Georgia about fishing ponds, and some advice in the first hour about hog control. We did that too, and I'm going to mention it right now again. Hogs are not indigenous to the United States. They were brought over by the Spanish, a few decades ago, and they are not indigenous. They are extremely destructive. They are not pets. Shoot them. Kill them. The white-tailed deer are afraid of them. The wild turkeys are afraid of them. And the effective way, besides hunting, don't stop hunting, but the effective way to take out your population of wild hogs, and we've got them up here in the mountains in North Georgia, they're coming back fast, is to professionally trap them. Find out all about it on the internet. I went this week with the Department of Natural Resources to the Dylane Wildlife Management Area in South Georgia below Augusta, and they, DNR, it's almost a full-time job just taking care of and eliminating the hogs on the Dylane, which is 8,000 acres, and the neighbor farms around, which amounts to 40,000 acres in combination. And since 2011, when there were no hogs there, they're covered up with hogs now, and they have killed over 1,000 in the last 6 years. It's not a problem to be trifled with. You need to concentrate on that if you're a landholder or leaseholder. This is O'Neill with O'Neill Outside, 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255, and we'll be back. 25 after the hour, you're listening to O'Neill Outside. We have a lot of calls. We want to get to every one of them. Holding on the longest right now is our good friend Hank the Yank. Good morning, Hank the Yank. What do you say, pal?
Happy birthday, America.
Yes, indeed.
Right?
Greatest place on earth.
Yeah. So let me ask you.
Okay.
I'm just curious because you've got a lot more age on me than as far as how old I am versus how old you are.
Yes.
So when they signed the Declaration of Independence, were you around that? Were you there? Were you close?
I couldn't quite make it. I was fishing that day.
Oh, I figured. You're like Methuselah.
Yeah, I was. I was. They invited me, but I said, "Oh, you guys go ahead and handle it. I understand." But I was fishing that day.
You were out with the DNR while they were signing the thing. Oh my gosh! We don't give enough credit to our DNR. I know you and I love our DNR.
Yes.
But I just had I was on the phone yesterday getting a great lesson from Jeff Derniak, who's who's in charge of DNR up here in Gainesville and really has a lot to do with our fisheries. And so I'm as you know, I'm in the midst of writing this book on striped bass in freshwater. And I just wanted to know how it all started. And I had a reasonable idea, but Jeff really, dotted the I's and crossed the T's and talked about how neighboring states, which I didn't even realize how they share information, how we here in Georgia share information with Tennessee and Alabama and Virginia. So if somebody finds a win in, let's say, striped bass management, they share it amongst the rest of the states here in the South so that we can all prosper. I had no idea that was done.
Oh, yeah, they are scientists.
They are scientists, and so it's really interesting just how this whole thing came about and how it continues to prosper. But anyway, I'm sitting here waiting for Dunkin' Donuts to open in a minute because I'm getting ready to get some breakfast before I head down to the flats of the Chattahoochee River for some carp this morning.
Oh boy,
we're going carping.
You have created a fishery.
Well, I don't know if I've created a fishery, but certainly. You know what I love about our Chattahoochee carp, and I know this is going to sound, for people that hunt, they may not like this. The Chattahoochee down in Roswell, which is the area called Bull Sluice, which is where I do all my guiding in the summer for carp, is National Park Service protected. So you cannot bow hunt for carp down there.
Good.
So it is protected. The way you could, let's say, up on Lanier, on the upper breaches of Lanier, or in Hartwell, or in a lot of other areas in Georgia, you cannot bow hunt for carp in the area of Bull Sluice. Which is all protected. So we've just got a ton of carp down there, and I will tell you, they are hard, they are wily, they are smart. If you don't like a challenge, if you want to go fishing and absolutely positively get a bend in your rod, then carp fishing may not be for you on a fly. It's really difficult. It's almost like trying to feed a permit.
It's I've always enjoyed. It adds to the excitement if you cast to a fish you can see.
Oh yeah, that's the beauty. That's what gets me so. Neil, you know how much I love striper fishing, and on a fly rod, I can't wait. When April rolls around, I start waxing the little skiff to take out of the garage because I'm so excited that the next 3-4 months I'm going to be pulling around the flats for carp. And the way we do it is we do it the same way you see guys red fishing in the backcountry or bone fishing down in the Florida Keys, where we're actually getting on a little skiff and pulling folks around in 8 to 12 inches of water. And what you see, we've got bald eagles down there now, and we've got snowy egrets down there, and all sorts of wildlife. It's just you wouldn't, Cephas McCrae. I took Cephas down there a few years ago, and he was blown away. He said to me, he goes, "Henry, you'd think you're back somewhere in the Everglades." He goes, "I didn't even know this stuff existed down here. It's just so beautiful." And here we are, right in the middle of Atlanta, in the middle of 6-7 million people, and we've got this area that just is so remote down on the river. It's just wonderful. We're really, really fortunate to have that, and we're fortunate a lot of this stuff was created and continues to prosper because of our DNR and the work they do. So anyway, that's what's happening. The bass fishing on Lanier has gotten, I haven't gone, but I keep hearing from a lot of guys the topwater bite is as good as it's been all year long right now on spotted bass, hitting walk the dog baits and chug bugs and whatnot. Sunny days obviously puts them a little deeper than the cloudy days. Today we're going to get some clouds, so a little cloud cover as the day wears on. So it'll probably be a good day to go out on the lake and topwater fish as well, if that's something you want to do.
Let me comment about that the mistake people make is that they're topwater fishing for spotted bass, but they're fishing in 6 feet of water.
Yeah, they're on the bank. Most people, you see a lot of people fishing on the bank, and you're 100% right. Right now, this time of year, you need to find the brush piles, and you need to find the brush piles that are on humps that are between 20 and 25 feet down. And I will tell you, this is an absolute horrible plug, but I will tell you that when I switched over to Humminbird as my fish finder of choice, they have something called Lake Master Charts, which is proprietary software for Humminbird only. And on their Fish Master chart, you can plug in what they call contour highlighting. And I can plug in 20 to 25 feet. So when you're looking at a GPS map on a boat and everything looks blue because it's the water, I can turn Kelly Green into 20 to 25 feet and every single hump on the lake appears.
Oh, boy.
Now, the guesswork is out as where the humps are. Now you just got to find the brush.
Yeah, it's such a mistake when people don't understand. I'm fishing top water, but but where I'm fishing is 25 feet deep.
That's right. That's right. That's
they come
exactly
up out of
right.
25 feet of water for a top water bait.
They are suckers for it this time of year.
Yes, they are.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, I'm going to get my coffee, and if anybody wants a cup of coffee, I'm buying this morning at the Dunkin' Donuts here off of McFarland.
Good deal. I hope a lot of people stop by.
Take care, pal.
Yeah. I'll see you later, my good friend. There we go. That's good. All right, who's been up the longest here? Let's talk to Mark. Mark in Camden County's up next. Good morning, Mark. Where are you headed today, sir?
Well, you caught me just about pulling into the ice machine, but I'm going to go out and catch some king mackerel again today. That's what we do this time of year.
Going after the kings.
Yes, sir. It's been maybe the best year for kingfish I've seen in maybe 40 years.
No kidding. What size are they? And lots of them?
Crazy. Anywhere from school size all the way up to about 50 pounds now.
Wow.
I've been keeping track of the kingfish getting weighed in at the Northeast Florida Shootout, and there's been maybe 3 dozen fish weighed in over 40 pounds this year so far.
Boy,
so it's been really good.
That's a whopper. What are you catching? Are you using trolling artificials? What are you doing?
No, we're all slow trolling live baits, usually pogies or menhaden.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And, Spanish sardines, cigar minnows, depending on where you're fishing. Usually closer in, you'll have pogies. Further out, you'll have sardines and cigar minnows, and we'll gold hook them.
Yeah.
But you were talking hog control a little while ago. Do you know where the only piece of National Park Service property is in the United States that you can hunt on?
No.
It's in Camden County, Georgia, of course.
Really?
At, Cumberland Island National Seashore.
Oh, how about that? Yeah, that's been set up for, my goodness, 100 years?
Yeah, they have deer hunts and they have hog control hunts. That's what got me to thinking about that. You were talking hog control. They actually have a ranger over there that has a full-time job doing nothing but hog control.
That's right, on Ossabaw?
On Cumberland Island.
On Cumberland, okay. Well, they have another guy.
It's administered by the National Park Service, and it's the only property they have in the country where you can hunt.
How about that? Well, thank goodness for them. Thank goodness for them.
Question, huh?
Yeah, no kidding. All right, have a great day, Mark.
I'm going to jump out and hit this ice machine. You have a good weekend.
Mighty fine. Glad you called, pal. There you go. There you are. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here? It's 35 after the hour. Let's quickly, if we can, let's talk to Blake. Blake, I've got 2 minutes. What do you say?
Hey, this is Captain Blake Jones from Lake Oconee. How are you, buddy?
Good, man. How's the fishing there?
Man, the crappie fishing has been off the charts lately, and the striper fishing is just about there too.
That's a neglected lake. That's some fabulous fishing in Lake Oconee.
It sure is. A lot of people don't realize how many stripers and hybrids we do have down there. and it's our bite's been really good, especially in the evening. If they're generating water, it is phenomenal.
That's one of the keys, isn't it? That generation schedule.
Absolutely, and you can start looking for the pump back bite to start really any day now. That's where, I don't know if people know how that they let water out of a Lake Oconee into Lake Sinclair during the day, and then they reverse the dam and push the water back in overnight and early in the morning, and it just creates a feeding frenzy in the mornings down at the dam.
Fantastic. Are you a guide there, Captain?
Yes, sir. I'm a licensed captain. Against the Grain Charters is the name of my business. ATGcharters.com. If anybody wants to go fishing, feel free to check me out.
Hey, call more often, sir. I got to go right now, but call more often, and we'll put you some clients down there and enjoy that good fishing.
Yes, sir. Keep up the good work. Have a good weekend.
You bet. You too, pal. There we go. And 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. The favorite portion of O'Neill Outside is coming up right after this break. And what is that? Guess? It's the Medal of Honor tribute. We'll be back. Robert Maxwell, Army, France, September 1944. Maxwell and 3 other soldiers, armed only with their .45 caliber handguns, defended the battalion observation post against an overwhelming onslaught by German infantrymen in platoon strength, supported by 20mm machine gun fire. They had infiltrated through the battalion's forward companies and were attacking the observation post at ranges as close as 10 yards. Despite a hail of fire from the automatic weapons and grenade launchers, Robert aggressively fought off advancing enemy elements and, by his calmness, tenacity that is, and fortitude, inspired his fellow soldiers to continue the unequaled struggle. Remember, they could have surrendered. When a German hand grenade was thrown into the midst of the squad, Maxwell hurled himself squarely upon it, using his blanket and his unprotected body to absorb the full force of the explosion. This act of instantaneous heroism permanently maimed Robert, but it saved the lives of his comrades in arms and facilitated maintenance of a vital military communications during the temporary withdrawal of the battalion's forward headquarters. Robert Maxwell died May 11th, 2019. He was 98 years old. Robert Maxwell, Medal of Honor recipient. It's 42 after the hour. 404-872-0750, 800-972-8255. This for O'Neill Outside. And here's Andy calling. Let's get right to him. He just now called. Andy, good morning. You're on O'Neill Outside Radio. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, O'Neill. How are you, sir?
Outstanding. And you? You looking forward to the weekend?
Oh, well, I mean, I work on the weekends, but yeah, it's always a good time.
It's nice to have a job, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I've got 2, as a matter of fact.
There you go.
I had a question about the Alaska cruise.
Okay.
When, if I was to reserve a room today, which I'd really like to do, when does it come time to pay the piper for that, if it's next summer?
Well, it's about next spring.
Okay. All right, cool. So we got time to rack up because working.
Oh yes.
But I had a question. I just what are your thoughts on a rifle cartridge, the 45-70?
Well, it's a heavy duty round, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, my buddy of mine's got one, and man, I took that thing for a dance up in LJ, and good Lord, I want one.
Yeah, I got you.
Are they good for hunting anything? Can you hunt whitetail with it?
Well, yeah, you can. You know, there's minimums for hunting whitetail, but there aren't any maximums that I know of.
Okay.
So, yes,
cool.
you can.
All right, well, hey, thanks for doing all you do, brother. I've been listening to you for decades. You and Art Bell were always my favorite radio guys. That's how far back I go, Art Bell. But you and Wilma Williams have a good 4th of July. Happy birthday, America, and we'll holler at you later, sir.
There we go. All right, that's a nice call from Andy. It looks like Andy will be on the cruise with us next year. I certainly do hope to be a Alaskan cruise, and you can find out all about it by visiting O'Neill Outside. Scroll right down to the bottom of the homepage, and you'll find all about the cruise. And if you can possibly put this together, please go with this on this cruise. I guarantee you it will be one of the most magnificent trips you'll ever take. The ship is made for. Get yourself in there, make a reservation. It's not much money to make that reservation, and you can cancel later if need be. But get in there now, because the ship will be full. It's well accommodated. The scenery is beyond description. It really is beyond description. This week I went to Die Lane Wildlife Management Area, and the subject was the hog population. And let me give you a little test here, a little instruction. It was great going because these DNR guys are scientists, and so with that in mind, they're interesting and factual, and they don't deal in rumors and camp stories. I enjoyed my time there with the crew at Die Lane. It's about 30 miles south of Augusta in the flat plains. For instance, what was interesting, one of the things interesting was below Augusta, Georgia, in a line that goes from Augusta to Macon, which is central Georgia, over to Montgomery, Alabama, all the way to Jackson, Mississippi, used to be the coastline. Florida almost was completely underwater, and all of South Georgia, South Alabama, South Mississippi used to be, well, it's flat, and it used to be underwater, and that's the reason the soil is so sandy. Anyway, let's give you a little example here of what I learned this week. This is about now if you have hog populations in your land lease, your farm, and so on. Say you have two mated pair, a male and female, and they will breed and have a litter in 5 months. They'll have anywhere from 7 to 12 offspring. It won't happen, but if they survive, they will breed in another 5 months. And if their offspring all survive, which they won't, but they, in principle, and they breed in another 5 months, that those mated pair, those two, will become 108 hogs in 15 months. While it's great to hunt them, shoot them, to remove them from your property, you can't keep up just by hunting, because, by and large, the hog is a nocturnal critter. He's a nighttime guy. So, it takes more than a man with a rifle, to be able to handle that. Okay, it's 48 after the hour. Let's talk now to, let's see, who's been on the longest? Let's talk to Eric. All right, we're going to go, we're going to go down to, we're going to visit Richard. I think Richard calls from West Virginia. Good morning, Richard. It's 48 after the hour. What's going on? Richard.
Sir? Hello?
There you are, Richard.
Hey, no, this is Eric. This isn't Richard.
I hit got the wrong guy, but that's okay. Let's talk to Eric then.
Mr. O'Neill, how are you, sir?
Good, good, good. What can I do for you?
Good. I wanted to share the story of Ralph Cooper. He was on USS Truxtun with me. This was back in 1992. We served on USS Truxtun out of Bremerton, Washington. Ralph Cooper was a full-fledged member of the Crips gang. He was from South Central Los Angeles and left there to join the Navy to pretty much save his own life.
Yes.
And to change his life around. He was a good sailor. He was a great friend, but he was hard. You could tell he had the tattoos and all that. I mean, the kid was seriously into the Crips gang. He wasn't just, he wasn't just some poser. He was in First Division with me and striked out of First Division to become a ship's, like a ship's cook. And we went from the Truxtun together to the USS Rainier, and he actually became personal chef to the ship's, to the ship's captain.
Sounds like he was being successful.
Long story short, he was carrying a huge vat of grease down a ladder well, and he slipped and hit his head and it killed it. It's not the timeline of our death when we are to go see the Lord. It's not up to us. It is up to us how we go. And he decided to go as a member of the United States Navy, as opposed to a member of some, some dirtbag gang. He was a good man, sir.
It sounds like he made. Sounds like he made some the right choices, didn't he?
Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. I'm very proud.
Thank
to be
you for calling,
friend.
sir.
Oh, you're very welcome, man. God bless you.
I'll bet you are. I'm glad you called.
Thank you very
Eric.
much, sir. Have a good night.
Let's see if I can do this. You bet. All right, let's see. My screen is working here, I think. Now let's talk to, we've got time for this, I believe. Let's talk quickly to Richard in West Virginia. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning there, O'Neill.
Do I have Richard up? Hey, Richard, what do you say, my good friend?
Well, let's say what I'm going to say as far as fishing goes. I've heard Mac many times call and talk about striper fishing, and that sounds like a pretty tight fish. I just wonder if they're just available in certain areas. In other words, in a place like I live here in Wheeling, West Virginia, are they available here where maybe is that a fish you can catch in a river, or is that a pond fish, or where can you go to catch a striper?
No, a striper is a saltwater fish that spawns in freshwater rivers that reach the coast, that reach salt water. But over the last 30 years, after they found out that, after the Department of Natural Resources found that they could raise stripers and put them into freshwater lakes, that's how they get there. If you could check with the Department of Natural Resources in West Virginia, I would just bet you that they have put stripers in some of the area lakes. A striper is a true bass, but he does not reproduce in fresh water. He has to be able to go.
Let's be able to go.
Richard, I'm up against a hard break, pal. I always appreciate your call. You always have great subjects, but right. Well, another O'Neill Outside on an unused Saturday morning is history. I appreciate you listening to the program, watching it on Facebook, and maybe listening to the podcast later or watching the edited version on Facebook throughout the week. Thank you for participating in the program. We've been at this now for 28 years, and we hope we're performing some kind of a service for you with regards reminders about things to do, not to do, wildlife, fisheries, how to make the outdoors successful. One of the things I want to be sure and include today is if you take your children on an outdoor outing over the summertime, school is out, be sure and check yourself and them for ticks. They can make you sick. And so be diligent about that with some bug ban spray and things of that nature. Only takes a moment, and protect yourself from ticks. They are tenacious little critters. So otherwise, self-promotion, be sure and visit o'neilloutside.com or o'neilloutside.net. You can order my book, O'Neill Outside, People and Places Along the Way. I will send it to you. I will personalize it, and I will sign it. And be sure and visit O'Neill Outside, bottom of the homepage, for the Alaskan cruise in the summer of 2020. Go ahead and make your reservations now. I wouldn't say space is running out, but be a part of our group. That is the best cruise I've ever been to, ever. So with that in mind, this is O'Neill Outside, Saturday mornings, and I would urge you to, selflessly, to watch O'Neill Outside. You can see it on Waypoint TV, Carbon TV, My Outdoor TV, Fox Sports networks across the country, the Hunt Channel, and on ad nauseum. O'Neill Outside with Travis Johnson, and a new season is coming up. This is O'Neill, and you keep this in mind. If you're too busy to go fishing and take a child along, you're too busy. And I hope to see you guys next week. This is O'Neill.
I once asked a mighty hunter, coming home from the field, how he came to possess such mighty hunting and fishing skill. He said, "I'll tell you a secret, son. I learned everything I know from listening to O'Neill Outside on my radio." O'Neill, O'Neill, O'Neill Outside.